Attention passionate Montreal, Canadiens fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the Atlantic Division and it could shake up the entire conference. We're talking about a direct impact on Montreal Canadiens' path to another Stanley Cup run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Montreal Canadiens fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Montreal Canadiens fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. When we talk about the Montreal Canadiens, we're talking about a franchise that's rooted in history, passion, and an unyielding desire to climb back up to the top of the NHL. The Canadiens have been through a lot in recent seasons, trying to rebuild and find their identity after some tough years. But what's really exciting now is the potential shakeup that could be on the horizon in the trade market, especially when it comes to filling that crucial second-line center spot. And this might be the move that propels them into a new chapter of competitiveness. Right now, the Canadiens are looking for a solution to their second-line center dilemma. They've had some options, but with Kirby Dach's injury situation looming over the start of the season, it's clear they need to be proactive. Dach, who was supposed to be a key piece in their second line, has struggled with injuries throughout his career. Even now, with 5 months having passed since his last knee surgery, the outlook isn't promising that he'll be ready when the puck drops on training camp. Maxime Truman from Dan's Les Coulisses has reported that Dach's recovery is taking longer than expected, and his availability for the start of the season, which is just around the corner, is highly uncertain. That's a huge concern for the Canadiens because, let's face it, they were counting on Dach to be their guy in that role. So, naturally, the team and their management are exploring options to address this gap. And one intriguing possibility that's been floated around is a trade idea that involves Ryan Strome. Yes, Ryan Strome, who currently plays for the Anaheim Ducks. Now, Strome isn't just any player, he's a seasoned NHL center with a good offensive touch, and he's under contract for 2 more seasons at a very reasonable rate, given his production. He's been quite effective, recording 10 goals and 31 assists for a total of 41 points in 82 games last season. That kind of production makes him a very attractive option for the Canadiens, especially considering their need for a second-line center who can contribute both offensively and defensively. The proposed trade, as heavy, Com has suggested, would see the Canadiens send a second-round pick along with Beck, a promising 21-year-old forward who's shown flashes of potential and is expected to push for a full-time NHL role next season. Beck is considered a versatile player who could fit into the Ducks' young roster, mainly in a bottom-6 role. The Canadiens, on the other hand, would be acquiring a player who can step in immediately and fill that critical second-line center position. It's a move that makes a lot of sense because Strome's experience and offensive ability could help Montreal's top lines thrive, especially if Dach isn't ready to go or struggles with injuries again. But it's not just about acquiring Strome. To make this trade work financially, Montreal would need to move some salary out. Matheson, for example, is entering the final year of an 8-year, $39 million deal. He recorded 6 goals and 25 assists for 31 points in 80 games last season. Moving Matheson would free up some cap space and also help Montreal make the trade feasible. Interestingly, Matheson has been on the trade block for a while now, and his name has come up in discussions surrounding potential deals. It's not surprising because the Canadiens have a deep pool of young defensemen, like Jayden Struble and Hekej, who are ready to step up and contribute more in the coming seasons. And this is where things get even more interesting. Montreal's management is clearly looking to reshape their blue line, especially with the upcoming season and the need to build a more sustainable, competitive roster. Moving Matheson would not only free cap space, but also send a message that the Canadiens are serious about making strategic moves to improve their team. It's a delicate balancing act, but one that could pay off big if they execute it well. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture here. The Canadiens have been in a bit of a transitional phase. They've been developing young talent like Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki, who are the cornerstone pieces for the future. But to really take that next step and become playoff contenders again, they need to fill some gaps, especially at the center position. The trade for Ryan Strome could be a game-changer, providing that veteran presence and offensive punch that the team needs to push into the postseason. And it's not just about this season. The Canadiens have been patient, building from within, but they also understand the importance of making smart, strategic moves now. If they manage to acquire Strome, it could also serve as a signal to other teams that they're serious about competing and making bold moves. The Atlantic Division is incredibly competitive, with teams like Boston, Tampa Bay, and Toronto always fighting for the top spots. Montreal needs to be aggressive to keep pace, especially considering that their division rivals are stacking up with talent and depth. The potential trade also raises some questions about the future of other key players. For example, with Matheson potentially leaving, who will step into that veteran leadership role on the blue line? And how will this affect the overall chemistry of the team? These are questions that the Canadiens' management will have to address in the coming weeks, but the direction seems clear. They want to be more competitive now and are willing to make bold moves to do so. Another aspect to consider is the development of the young players. Beck, who would be part of the trade, is still very much a project. But with the right environment and coaching, he could develop into a valuable NHL player. The same applies to the defense prospects like Struble and Eksekej, who are pushing hard to earn their spot in the NHL roster. The Canadiens are building something special, and these trades are part of that puzzle, aiming to create a balanced, competitive squad that can contend for years to come. Looking ahead, this move could also influence the team's draft strategy and free agency plans. If they manage to acquire a veteran like Strome and free up cap space by moving Matheson, they could be more aggressive in the offseason, targeting specific players to bolster their depth and special teams. The Canadiens are no strangers to making savvy moves, and this potential trade is just the latest example of their strategic approach to rebuilding. And let's not forget about the fans. Canadiens fans have been craving a return to the playoffs, a deep run, and that Stanley Cup parade that they cherish so much. Every move, every trade, every draft pick is viewed through the lens of that ultimate goal. If this trade for Ryan Strome materializes, it could be a significant step towards that ambition. The excitement in Montreal is palpable because fans know that their team is on the cusp of something big. They've seen the ups and downs, the rebuilds, the moments of hope, and now they're looking for that final push to get back into the postseason and beyond. In summary, what we're seeing here is a franchise that is not content with just treading water, especially in such a competitive division. They're actively exploring bold trades, looking to address their most pressing needs, that second-line center, a more flexible blue line, and cap space to maneuver in the offseason. The potential acquisition of Ryan Strome from the Anaheim Ducks could be exactly what the Canadiens need to turn their fortunes around. It's a move that would show their commitment to winning, to building a team that can challenge the best in the league, and to finally making a real push for a deep playoff run. This is an exciting time for Montreal Canadiens fans, no doubt about it. The offseason is just beginning, and the trade market is heating up. The Canadiens have options, and they're not afraid to make bold decisions. Whether it's acquiring Strome, moving Matheson, or adding other pieces, one thing is clear. The Canadiens are assembling a team that's ready to fight to compete and to bring back the glory days. So stay tuned, because the next few weeks could be crucial in shaping the future of this storied franchise. The passion, the hope, and the drive to bring another Stanley Cup to Montreal are stronger than ever. And as always, we'll be here to bring you all the updates, analysis, and insights as they unfold. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Montreal Canadiens news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Montreal Canadiens fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential move? Do you think acquiring Ryan Strome is the right call for the team? How do you see the trade impacting the roster and the team's chances of making a deep playoff run? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Canadiens. Remember, the offseason is just getting started, and there's plenty more news, rumors, and updates coming your way. So stay tuned, subscribe if you haven't yet, and keep the passion alive because the Montreal Canadiens are on the rise once again. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon with more in-depth coverage on all things Canadiens. Let's go Habs!